It's a great pleasure for me to stand here and share with you my ideas about unseen. So, when I first saw this topic, it reminds me of the unseen groups of people and their untold stories. It also reminds me of a recent popular book called The Invisible Women. After I watched the movie Oppenheimer 2 months ago, and I read some critique about that, I guess I might have something to say. So here I am. So anyone who knows Robert Oppenheimer, please raise your hands. Okay, so that's about maybe 70 to 80% of our audience. And anyone who knows Yang Zhenyi, please raise your hands. Maybe 50%. And anyone who knows Wu Jianxiong, please raise your hands. Uh-oh, so that's only about maybe 20 to 30%. So even with such a small sample size, we can still see that she is relatively unknown. Also, they are all highly achieved particle physicists. And Wu Jianxiong, despite being called the First Lady of Physics or Chinese Marie Curie, still lives in relative obscurity. To support this opinion, I also searched their name online. So you can see that on Google, while Yang Zhenyi has got 48 million search entries, Wu Jianxiong has only got less than 500,000. And on Baidu, while Yang Zhenyi has got 100 million search entries, Wu Jianxiong has only less than 9.5 million. But by checking their timelines, I do believe they are equally accomplished in terms of their professional achievements. So they both graduated from top Chinese unis and then got their PhD from top American unis and both become particle physicists thereafter. In the same year of 1958, they were both elected to Taiwan Academy of Science, and they are also members of the American National Academy of Science and the Chinese National Academy of Science. So for me, the first time I heard about this First Lady of Physics was in my high school, and it should be an intro to nuclear physics class. When it came to the part that my Yang Zhenyi and Li Zhendao won the Nobel Prize in Physics, my physics teacher, Mr. Wu, who happened to share the same family name with Wu Jianxiong, mentioned about this lady. And in his eyes, she should have been awarded with the Nobel Prize, together with Yang and Li, because although these two gentlemen are the ones who proposed the theory about non-conservation of parity, it was Wu who designed and conducted the experiment and confirmed their theory in real experiments. Up till now, some people continue to believe that Wu Jianxiong did Nobel-level work, but was not acknowledged. So in 2022, when the Nobel Prize in Physics was awarded to 3 quantum physicists who produced increasingly convincing experimental results about entanglement. One article from Scientific American commented that historians agree Wu's 1949 experiment was the first to document entangled photons, yet Wu, who died in 1997, was not mentioned when the 2022 awards were announced, and it's not the first time that she has been overlooked. So later on, the article went on to talk about how Wu was overlooked in the 1957 physical prize, just like my physics teacher did. But in my teenage years, I don't think I had ever tried to remember her on purpose. As I graduated and I was no longer concerned about physics at all, the name of Wu Jianxiong faded away in my mind. It was not until 2 months ago that I was reminded of her again after almost 10 years. When the movie Oppenheimer was on, some critics started to criticize its little depiction of the female scientists who played equally important roles in the Manhattan Project. The common part of her being mentioned under these two contexts was that she was mentioned not because people initially wanted to celebrate her achievements, wanted to commemorate her, or wanted to restate her story along, but because people deemed that it would be unfair for her to remain unseen. So for the first two times For the two times I was introduced to her, she was not the main person under the spotlight. She was neither the winner of the Nobel Prize nor the protagonist of the film. In pursuing her career, Wu Jianxiong has overcome lots of obstacles. So when she first decided to do her PhD in the USA, she planned to study at the University of Michigan. This is her immigration file. You can see that the reference letter was from a professor at the University of Michigan. But what frustrated her was that the Michigan Union, which was founded by all male students, faculty, and alumni, set up a rule that without a man escorting her, no woman was allowed through the front door. Because of that, and also in expectation of joining the radiation laboratory at UC Berkeley, she transferred to UC Berkeley and met Oppenheimer there. After she finally graduated in 1940, there were little job opportunities in California. The anti-Asian attitudes with the start of World War II also limited her career. So she and her family then decided to move to the East Coast, while her husband as well as colleague Luke Yuan joined the faculty at Princeton University. Wu Jianxiong found a teaching position at Smith College, a women's college without research infrastructures. It was 1 year later that she finally got the offer from the Princeton University and became the first female instructor on their faculty. But she didn't stay there for long. Since in 1944, she was invited to join the Manhattan Project. But like her delayed Princeton offer, she was not invited initially because of her Asian identity and the agitation against Asians at that time. After she finally joined, her contributions in the Manhattan Project lay in two aspects. First, she helped develop better radiation detectors for uranium enrichment. And second, she helped separate uranium into its isotopes, uranium-235 and uranium-238, so their quantities could be large enough for the atomic bomb. And after the war ended, she stayed at Columbia University and made most of her achievements there. Except the Nobel Prize, she has won the most rewards that a particle physicist can get, including the Comstock Prize, the National Medal of Science, the World Prize in Physics. She was also the first female president of the American Physical Society. Nowadays, I do believe her story is getting known by more and more people, and I see that more biographic books about highly achieved women are getting published. Even within our small library, we have Women in Physics series for major women. We have Major Women in Science series for middle school students, and some books like A Girl with a Mind for Math for primary, and some feminism books for high-level readers. So I do believe women in science are getting more equal opportunities and encouragement as men in the field. During my research, I was also happy to find that the Southeast University, one of the universities that originates from Wu's old school, has launched a scholarship program named after Wu Jianxiong. And this scholarship is specially granted to female doctoral students majoring in physics, chemistry, biology, and medical engineering. So I want to encourage our female students that you have no limitations. Your future are unbounded. According to the Nobel Foundation, from 1902 to 1921, only 4.1% of the Nobel Prize laureates were females, but 100 years later, that number has risen to 12.4%. And specifically in the field of science, the number has also risen from 4% to 12.9%. So I do believe with more females receiving the equal education and the equal encouragement, women can do excellent work in whatever field. Just like the name of Wu Jianxiong means in Chinese, women can become strong heroes. Thanks.